It's hard to say, but Tic Tac is actually going to be leaving to be started under saddle. It's happening, guys. I'm literally so excited. Do you remember when I thought she was still just a hay belly? In case you missed it, back in 2018, I bought this 3-year-old mare, aka Princess Peach, to be a riding horse. She was turned out to grow for a few months and came back in with a little bit of a hay belly. At the time, we had no grass and she was getting fed majority round bale hay. Listen, I was wrong. Peach is pregnant. Later that year, Tic Tac was born and our crazy journey started. She has had attitude and confidence from day one, and honestly, not that much has changed. I've seriously learned so much through this process and I love her so much. I can only hope she's going to be my forever horse. It's felt like such a long wait, but she's finally almost an adult. But as we all know, when you become an adult, you need to do 3 things: groundwork training, ability to get on the float, and a haircut. You know, adult stuff, obviously. I actually started the groundwork training with her when she turned 3 years old because I did notice that she started to get like a little pushy. So it was time for me to actually step up as a parent and instill some rules, some boundaries. Tic Tac is definitely very smart. She picks things up super quickly, but I have noticed that she has that little bit of like warm blood attitude that her mum Peach doesn't have. I need to keep her handling under control because I think she's one of those horses that could just easily start trying to push you around. It's just about being alert, not what is it? It's about being aware, not alert. Is that the saying? Be aware, not alarmed. Like sometimes I ask things of her and you can just tell she's like, why though? Like I was happy existing in my paddock and now you're asking me to do all this stuff, and I just like, why? And that's really tough. But like every fitness YouTuber, Tic Tac now has a routine. The little kid, she has improved so much. It's amazing what you can achieve, like literally just doing 15 minutes a day with them and bribing them with like a little bit of loosen as well. You forget how slow it actually all is at the start. Like you have to get them used to everything, just tying up, being groomed, getting tacked up, like all those things you don't even think twice about with your older horses. I also wanted to start getting some fitness happening because I didn't want her to go fully like into shock when she actually has to be ridden. And I may or may not have snuck up onto her back like maybe a handful of times, but I just, again, didn't want her to go into complete shock when she sees random up there for the first time. And a huge shout out to TRT Method because I actually don't know where I would have started with this whole young horse starting process if it was not for their online course. It literally was like my handbook. I think that's kind of the way that you would say it. If you're in a similar position to me and you have a young horse you want to start doing groundwork with, maybe start riding yourself, highly recommend checking out their online course. I will link it in the description, and obviously you get a really nice discount if you use my link to sign up. So just saying. Groundwork complete. I know this is really bad, but I had the sudden realization I'd actually never trained Tic Tac to get on the float and travel. Should probably get onto that or we literally won't be going anywhere. Like with most stuff, I do take this very slowly. I introduced sort of the ramp and going up and down over a couple of weeks. We did a little bit each day, practice locking her in there. And then for the first time we went for a drive, I popped on one of our older, very experienced horses with her. So she kind of had like a buddy, and I found that worked really well. I personally hate the initial stages of float training. It's always a bit stressful, so I like to just take it really slowly and try and get them as mentally prepared as possible because it's always hard when you do that first drive. But Tic Tac did amazing. She traveled really, really well, and since then she's definitely got a lot of confidence up and is walking on and off the float very, very well. So I'm really pleased with her in that sense. Float training complete. And number 3, the final step to becoming an adult horse, she needs a haircut. Desperately. The before was honestly giving Brumby straight out of the bush. It wasn't the best look, I'm gonna say, and only I can take this and give you a bowl cut. Guys, it's fine. You make it square and then like in a few weeks it always grows out and looks really, really good. It's fine. That's what I tell myself anyway. So I had spent months prepping Tic Tac for this next stage of her training. We had 1 month to go and she was progressing really well. I can't believe I'll actually be riding her soon. So as we've established, Tic Tac likes to paw when she gets frustrated or excited. One of the horses came out of the paddock and apparently she got a bit excited and started pawing at her gate. And she managed to paw so hard that she wedged her foot in between the gate and the post that the gate was attached to, which of course she then proceeded to panic because horses, and started pulling back pretty violently because she wanted to free herself, which she did manage to do. Thankfully, the vet came out super quickly. We did the scans, the x-rays, and somehow the little naughty thing came out unscathed with just very, very bad bruising. Annoyingly, this obviously meant that our prep had to stop. She needed a few weeks off just to let the bruising go down. That meant I wasn't 100% sure if she was still going to be going to the trainers to be started under saddle. The boot is allowed to come off today. She's doing a lot better, which I'm very, 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 very happy about. The boot is in an absolute state, so I'm glad it's time to bring it off because I reckon it's going to smell. Have you ever wondered what owning a horse is like? Mostly stuff like this, to be honest. Taking off yuck bandages in freezing weather and it's almost dark and you've run out of time to ride any other horses. So. Look at this little skinny legend. Oh, her leg looks so much better. It was very, very swollen a few days ago. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm very happy. She's like, can't talk, trying to free the loosen right now. Oh, that is such a relief. My vet came back out 3 weeks later and she got the thumbs up to keep going. I cannot tell you the relief. And we also installed a no-no guard in the gateway because she cannot be trusted. So we ended up only being able to do 1 more week of prep just before she went. Everything went super smoothly. But had I done enough work to prepare her for this next phase of training? Was all the hard work going to be enough? I hope so. I made sure not to show the trainers this footage, and they accepted her in, and she had a paddock, so I left before they could change their mind. Just kidding, I almost started crying because I felt so bad leaving my little baby. I'm like mildly tearing up right now, so embarrassing. Oh, Tic Tac. Just wants pats. You're okay. I know. Tic Tac, I'm gonna actually cry. She's like, don't go. Oh, baby. It's only for a few weeks. I'm really sad. Oh, it's exciting, but this is, I don't know, this is hard. I feel like I'm just leaving my poor baby behind. And then it was time for the training to start. It was actually a perfect environment, I think, because it was very, very busy. She had to get used to like dogs and floats, strange horses coming and going, which she doesn't really get to see that much at home. Oh, good girl. The trainer said she was pretty unfussed about someone actually being up on her back, which I like to think some of my groundwork helped to prep her for that. But she was initially like a little bit tense about the idea of being asked to move off the leg. But she did get over that pretty quickly. Okay, this footage was sent to me and it converted really badly, but I really wanted to show it to you guys because this was actually her final ride. And it was also the first time they cantered her while under saddle. So I just was like very proud of her because I feel like she did super well. It's kind of amazing that this can be achieved in 4 weeks. I'm like literally the proudest parent ever, but I could see she was definitely ready for a break. You're home! How exciting. So Tic Tac isn't actually done with being started under saddle. These guys prefer to do it in like 2 or 3 stints, which I actually think is really beneficial for the young ones because it's a lot. So our plan is just to do another round in about a month or 2. Needless to say, Tic Tac and Peach were extremely happy to be reunited, and you might be wondering who that is. More on that in a second. So we gave Tic Tac a month off because she really needed it, and it was time to start some groundwork again, which is very exciting. Chili. So this is the thing, when you get a surprise foal, everyone's like, oh my God, like 2 for 1, a bonus horse. But what it's actually like is like 2 for 1 vet bills. Tic Tac is so good at getting herself into trouble. So 2 days before she was supposed to leave for her second round of training, she took a chunk out of her hoof, just being like a menace to society in her paddock. The farrier came out, he fixed it up, she trotted up completely fine. So we were like, cool, she can still go, it's not that bad. We take her back to the trainers, everything goes really smoothly. We're excited this time. And this is supposedly the second day of summer. Oh, I know. It's not gonna be for very long. She was actually way calmer than the time before, and she seems to jump like straight back into the work really, really well. So all good news. And then the bad news, the foot unfortunately just didn't hold up to the amount of work that she had to do. So unfortunately, there wasn't enough hoof to get a shoe on, really. It would have been a bit like... So I thought it's probably just the best decision to bring her home, just let the hoof grow back out. It'll be all good in about 6 weeks anyhow. Just feel like she's being very creative with the ways that she gets out of work at this point. So unfortunately that does mean I've lost my spot at the trainer's place, because obviously they have like a long list of horses that are all scheduled to come through and do training with them. But watch this space, because either I'll send her back to the trainer shortly if we get a spot that opens up, or I'll be a brave little cowgirl and finish it off myself, which... Princess Peach. Some of you already know we left off, I think, in the last update video with Peach starting her rehab journey and getting the initial sign off that she was doing really well. Yeah. To summarize, I feel like we got 80% of the way through the rehab process and everything was going like amazing. We were hitting all the right boxes. She was feeling very, very good when I was riding her. And then slowly things just started to feel not quite right again. We scanned her again and the injury was inflamed again. So not quite back at square one, but not good. The rehab process was very, very mentally draining and hard, like on myself and on Peach, which is also why I'm very hesitant to go through this whole process again. It's a long process. It sucks. They're confined. You have to walk them like 2 or 3 times a day. It's very demanding when you're trying to like work a regular job and all those sort of things as well. And you feel guilty because they're super bored in there. The whole thing sucks. And the success rate is like 15%. I'm just not ready to put Peach and myself through that again for a 15% chance of recovery. Like the math isn't mathing. Like the injury is not bad. She's not like standing around in pain. She's happily existing in the paddock. So I don't know. I feel very much like in limbo right now. I'm not really sure what direction to move. I actually bought her as a project, which is so funny to think about now because that plan is like completely out the window. Like most of mine do seem to go. But there's something about it. I just love riding Peach. Like she's just the most lovely, beautiful, soft horse. And I think ultimately if she could just be like that really fun all-rounder that just anyone can come over and jump on, like that would be my ultimate goal for her. But at the end of the day, I still want a competition horse. Peach is obviously benched. Tic Tac, she might be it. She might be my next competition horse, but we don't know yet. Which brings me to my next order of business. Addressing the elephant in the room. Well, it's like kind of 2 elephants in the room, to be honest. Firstly, who is this? And secondly, yes, I am fully aware that it's been like 2 years since I last uploaded. I thought I was back at it. I thought work would get quieter. I thought Peach was coming sound. I thought a lot of things that were not. She's definitely not pregnant. Yeah, it's kind of like no time, no horse. I felt a bit lost again and I just thought it's just probably best to put a pause on the channel. However, I have drastically changed my life recently because I realized if I don't change anything, nothing will change. So regular videos are back. Yay! I have another one coming out tomorrow. Like, who is she? The most important order of business, a new horse. So my goal for this year is to improve my riding ability. I have felt very left behind because obviously Peach has been on and off for about 2 years now. I also had 6 months off of riding when I had to have my 2 surgeries. So I'm feeling a little bit like that I can't ride anymore, basically. But you know what they say, you have to get back on the horse. Specifically this horse right here. Spider is literally my dream horse, and I'm desperate to have a competition horse in my life again. The problem is I'm like kind of scared of him, but I'm like actually scared of him. Spider is a badass. He is almost 17 hands of muscle. He was a successful racehorse, gone top level eventer, and he's only ever been ridden by professionals. So he is a serious horse. And I'm not very serious or badass. But I am incredibly grateful to say that his owner has agreed to lease him to me for the foreseeable future. So of course I gave myself only 1 month to learn how to ride him and then complete a round of show jumping at a literal competition, because of course I would do that to myself. If you want to see if we managed to actually do said challenge, you can watch our next video, which is right here.